As Christians, we live with the assurance that by God's grace we are saved. Our eternal destiny awaits us, and we know that nothing can separate us from God's love. But even though we live in the light of God's promise, we are not immune to the struggles of this world. Struggles in our families, our friendships, our work, and even our faith. There are times when we need help. And we live in a world where many do not know God's grace. Many live in darkness, and we are called to be a light in that darkness. Lutheran Counseling Services has been sharing the light of God's grace for 25 years. By that grace, and with your help and support, Lutheran Counseling Services has been allowed to work with those who struggle with doubt, despair, depression, loss, uncertainty, broken relationships, and the effects of an imperfect world that will always be imperfect. We have been allowed to share God's forgiveness and love, and share God's strength to venture into new directions and new perspectives, and share God's grace, healing, and hope in times of transitions.
I wanted to say this to you in person when I was leaving, but I had to fight back the tears. I remember getting in the car after my last appointment and looking back at the house that I spent most of my Wednesday afternoons with you, and thinking about how much you helped me. While I was looking at the house, I started crying because I was sad to leave you, but also happy to realize that I made it and improved tremendously. Thank you so much for helping me overcome my anxiety and realize that I'm better than it. You saved me in a bad time in my life and made me a much happier person. I am blessed that God put you in my life, and I will be forever grateful for it. I don't think I could ever say thank you enough for everything you did for me, and I will always remember you.
The counselor saw me at my school. She spent time with me and really listened to my interests and what I liked. She helped me understand who I was and that who I am is pretty great. I mean, my family always told me that, but it helped a lot to hear someone else say it. Now I'm in high school, and without my counselor's help, I would not have made it my first couple of weeks. I'm even going to homecoming.
What can I say about LCS? Words can't describe the help I've gotten from them over the years. LCS walked me through difficult times and made me a better mother. Without my weekly time there, I can't even imagine how I would have coped with my divorce and the loss of my parents. Thank you. What else can I say?
And Lutheran Counseling Services has been allowed to help pastors, teachers, and other church workers as they too struggle with life in our imperfect world.
I'm a professional church worker. Several years ago, I accepted a call that meant relocating. When I told our oldest son that I'd accepted the call, his angry, tearful response to me was, "I'm gonna miss you, Dad." He knew he was gonna move to Orlando with the rest of the family, but he wanted me to know that I'd heard him. Our middle child became very quiet, which spoke volumes. My wife and I were both sad about leaving, and that's what we brought with us as we moved to Orlando. Some excitement and anticipation, and a lot of sadness. After a very emotional month or so in Florida, we met with a counselor who helped us to talk, to really share our thoughts, and helped us to listen to really hear what each of us was saying to each other. Later, the counselor met with the entire family. It opened a door of communication that helped us navigate some pretty tough times that followed. As a professional church worker, I sometimes feel as though I live in a fishbowl. LCS is a safe place, and I thank God for their ministry.
Over the past 25 years, Lutheran Counseling Services has grown to 11 staff members, serving 10 locations throughout Central Florida and 3 schools in our school ministry program. We've grown to 2,700 counseling sessions per year. God's grace has allowed us to offer to those who are struggling a safe place to explore the options and resources available to them. What will the next few years bring? Exploring new locations and partnerships outside of Central Florida and into the east and west coasts of Florida. Becoming more involved in the training and mentoring of registered interns as they move from master's degree to clinical practitioners. Expanding our older adult programs to include new groups and new partnerships in senior housing locations. Doubling the number of school locations served by our school ministry program. By God's grace and with the sustained support of our partners in faith, Lutheran Counseling Services will continue to bring grace, healing, and hope to His people.